Welcome back inside of Trash Chatter. I'm your host, Victoria Conway, and today I'm very excited to welcome on our guest, Jason Proctor, out of the Bay Area. His company name is Canology. He started back in 2016, and of course, Jason owns a successful trash bin cleaning business. But on top of that, he's made countless contributions to the industries from his technical aspect, also giving knowledge to us here at Sparkling Bins, as well as countless other entrepreneurs throughout the country. It's a pleasure to have you on today, Jason. How are you?
Doing great. It's my pleasure to be here. It's been a long time coming.
I know, you're a busy guy. Trying to hunt you down for the schedule is a little tough.
Sorry about that.
Doing a lot of different stuff. No. Listen, I know you're extremely busy, and those are things we're going to get into today, what you've been working on, and I think it'll be very justifiable as to why you're a busy man. But before we get into those other aspects, I want you to go back to 2016. How'd you first, apologies, I'll read that. Go back to 2016. How did you first hear about trash can cleaning?
So I actually heard about trash can cleaning in 2014. I was visiting family in the UK, and a neighbor was having the service completed. And at that time, my teenage son was saving money to go to Europe. And I thought it would be a great idea. I'm a contractor and I had a pressure washer. I thought it'd be a great idea for him to go around the neighborhood, knock on the doors and clean trash cans to earn some extra cash. He didn't receive that so welcomely. So, he said, well, there's no way I'm going to clean trash cans, Dad. So I'll do something else. So it sort of went by the wayside. And about a year later, I suppose something like that, a year and a half later, my wife called me. She was disgusted with our trash cans and went out to the internet to try to locate a service provider to take care of that. And when she came back, she said there wasn't anyone providing that service. And that was the nexus for Canology. Our first client was my wife.
That's a good way to keep business flowing. Like, people know that their wives want their cans cleaned, and that's perfect. And I like the fact that your son was against it. What are some of his thoughts now about trash can cleaning?
Well, he's come around, and he's actually been very instrumental in some of the work that I've been doing recently for Sparkling Bins. I think a lot of people, including my family, have validated the fact that this industry is being recognized and it is a needed service. So yeah, he's come around a lot.
That's awesome. I want to ask you, because I realize I don't really know this answer. What was your background before starting Canology? What was your experience? Because I know you're very technically sound. You've got a lot of knowledge as far as machinery, rebuilding items. We can talk about it at length, all the different items you've taken apart and given feedback to. But where did you begin? What's your background?
My background is from a mechanical HVAC plumbing and boiler background. That's where I've basically done most of my professional career. And then after I sold that business, I went into, I started purchasing property and renovating property, and then became a landlord. And so the trash can cleaning thing was really something for me to focus on. I tend to hyper focus on things, and I like the concept of building something and then turning it over to other people. It's basically working with in the hydronics business. It's working with electrical. It's working with boilers and furnaces and things like that. So, there's a lot of that parallels the need of repairing and servicing the equipment that we use today.
Yes, and you do an excellent job of looking into those different components. You also help us here at Sparkling Bins by working with us to discuss different items, to be a part of our innovative team. And those are some things we'll get into as the episode progresses, different ideas that you've helped create and put into action. And that's something that I know has helped our team tremendously. Things we wanted to do, but between service calls and getting things up and running, you kind of took over and said, send it to me, I'll work on it. And I know there's a lot of exciting things that have already been put into action, but are now still on the forefront of coming out next year, hopefully. As we talk about your business, Canology, what are some of the things you feel you do as an operator, as an owner, that might be a little bit different than other folks that are out there running their own trash bin cleaning business?
Okay, I don't know that we do anything necessarily different than other folks. I think most people find their own way I would say that one of the things that what the Canology did early on, because we were an early adopter to this industry, is we realized, or I realized very quickly, that um, this industry is a logistics and marketing industry, and as in order to scale, you need software to handle, thousands of transactions, whether it be call reminders or billing, automated billing, or scheduling and routing and things like that. And when we came in on 2016, there was really nothing available out there. So we developed a software solution for our business, to handle that. So I guess, that would be different than most people. I think there are a couple of people that I'm aware of now that do have the software, but when you get to thousands and thousands of customers, it becomes, you really have to have that software to manage that many people.
Absolutely. And logistics is so important, making sure that you're nice and concise and not spread out too thin. That's something we talk a lot about. And it's so true, no matter where you're located. It doesn't matter what type of city. You need to try to keep it nice and tight. And I think that's something you guys have done well. I wanted to ask you, how many trucks do you guys currently run right now?
So we just acquired our latest truck is an SB4 PTO, and that makes eight vehicles for us.
That's awesome. Congratulations, Jason. That's tremendous. And on top of growing your trash bin cleaning business, we're going to talk a little bit about some of the things you've developed for Sparkling Bins that I know our clients are raving about. I know my dad talks about it all the time. It's really neat. And I'll let you get into the details, but just for those listening or watching, it's a website that is specifically for Sparkling Bins clients, that they can go on there and do a multitude of things. You can order parts, you can look up videos, you can see different items on how to troubleshoot. And the goal for us is, as much as service calls are helpful, there's some things that we want our clients to learn how to do to save them time and get it done faster. So Jason has worked tirelessly at getting this up and running, and I'll let you take over from there, Jason, and maybe give some insight in where you kind of found that idea and why you think it's so helpful for clients.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I spent quite a bit of time with your dad talking about suggestions that I felt were pertinent to the Sparkling Bins equipment that would eliminate some of the headaches that he was experiencing. Some of that relating to, putting in flow sensors instead of trapped unloaders, and putting in flow sensitive unloaders instead of trapped unloaders. And as a sort of part of that journey, I would get feedback on what were the common causes, the common issues that were coming up time and time again, which obviously, repeating the same answer to somebody is sort of equivalent to sort of giving somebody a fish as opposed to teaching him how to fish. So I am pretty, I don't know what the right word is, HDAD or something, about trying to get solutions. And if I don't understand it, I just dig and dig and dig until I can get the solutions, right? So I just started looking at this stuff, and I said, I think we could develop an app where, folks could go to the app, type in a problem, get a solution. Well, as I started to develop that, there's so many variables, so many interconnected components. The challenge of that was just, is unfathomable. So we decided to start the Sparkling Bins Maintenance Facebook group, and we looked at the common things that came up. We looked at the solutions, and then from there we developed the website where somebody can go on. Those problems have been cataloged into various different categories, whether it be hydraulics or the Honda engine, or a whole host of different things in there that are most common. So if you have a problem, you can go into the website. You can look up your sections that say lifters. You can go to the diagnosing section. My lifters are jerky. From there, you're going to get a video explaining what's causing it and how to resolve it. And if it required a mechanical part or something, you could also, like you mentioned, click on a link to purchase that part. Now, you do have to be a Sparkling Bins client to access this stuff. It took a lot of resources to get to it, but we just recently added technology with a AI chatbot. Would you like me to talk about that now?
Oh, please do,
Yeah.
Jason. This is awesome. I'm learning,
Yep.
and this is good because now my dad asks me, I'll know.
So up until maybe a month ago, this technology wasn't available, but we were able to deploy it. So essentially now, once you go into the website, I mean, there's so much information in there, it can be a little overwhelming. But at the bottom of the page, you can go down and you can click on the, we call it the Mechanics Mate checkbox. And you can ask conversational questions like, my heat is blowing white smoke. What should I do? And it's going to basically scrub the website, and it's going to provide a conversational answer with links on sections of the website, links to videos, links to purchasing things. You can say things like, I want to purchase a ZK1 unloader, and where can I get that? And it's going to come back and it's going to provide you with a link to where to purchase it, and it's going to provide you links on to videos on how to install it. So the more this technology is used, the more questions that are asked of it, it will learn. It's going to scrub the website first, and then it'll go out and get outside resources. But the more questions we ask, the better trained it's going to become. So typically what we're doing now is when we see these questions come up in the Sparkling Bins Facebook maintenance page, we'll ask the chatbot that question and see what it produces. And it's doing a pretty good job right now, and it's early days.
That's incredible, Jason. I can't imagine how much time that took, but I know how beneficial it is because, like you said, you have a mechanical background, but then you pull somebody off the street that's never been around anything mechanical, something goes wrong, you don't know what you don't know. And then you call David or you call Ralph and you're flustered because you don't know what to do. So by educating clients, showing them different ways, that'll alleviate some stress because I know me personally, if I know how to fix it, I'm not going to be as flustered.
Yeah, and and in this industry, it's imperative that you have that equipment running because I tell everybody that's thinking about the industry, Canology is a prepaid service. So not showing up to service those clients is really the kiss of death. That just cannot happen. So when we have an equipment failure, we have to have it back on the road. And if you don't have that knowledge, you're going to start panicking. And, it could be 8 o'clock at night and people might not be available. But now you have this resource that you can fall back on and at least educate yourself on some of the probable causes, even if you don't want to tackle it yourself. That way, when you go to a service provider, you can talk intelligently and sort of, I found some of these service providers don't know as much as you'd think they do.
No, definitely. And if they tell that you walk in, they're not really knowing, then that's when you get into those cases where you don't know if the shop's really helping, what's going on. So I know, David will try to call beforehand, but of course, if something happens in a pinch, maybe he doesn't get to speak to that person. And I think it's just incredible to see the evolution because you're right. I remember when these systems started to being sold by Sparkling Bins, we had just a regular Facebook group just so people could have different ideas. And then I think once you started seeing people posting the same issues over and over again, it's like, okay, let's get a maintenance group because there's already so much info in here about just running a business. And now to have a fully functional website, I want to thank you because I know it's something that is going to help so many people. And I encourage our clients that are listening, go out there, ask questions. Some people are afraid to ask because they don't want to come across like you don't know. We're all learning. It's an industry that's growing and continues to. So the more information you can provide with us, the more we're all going to grow together. And how to join the website if you're a Sparkling Bins client will be linked below. If you have any questions, let us know. We'll make sure you get in there and continue to use the features. And want to thank you for that, Jason, because I know you have a lot going on. And some of the other projects I wanted to talk to you about, and to me, this is just more for interesting knowledge. You've rebuilt quite a few items. Like you have some trucks that are 6, 7, 8 years old. Which was the most difficult or which one was the most rewarding? Because our Sparkling Bins clients have probably seen you post about it. When I saw you completely repowder coat a hopper, I believe, I was thoroughly impressed.
Yeah, so the first two, it's interesting. The first trucks that Canology acquired were the first production trucks that your dad had released. and they had a lifter on the back that would pick up 3 cans. It was a custom design. It didn't really work so well, so we had to switch out those. But of course, these things go out every day. They really they don't get a lot of miles. So our 2014 trucks currently have 50,000 miles on them. So that's a testament to keeping your routes small and tight, right? So the trucks have probably got another 50,000, maybe more. So I was sort of toying with the idea of just trading them in and then getting new trucks, but then I'm a pilot, and you don't just aircraft are refurbished and put into service again. So I undertook rebuilding these trucks. I thought it was a challenge, and it was it was a challenge, but it was also a learning tool. So I think just being able to take everything off the back, utilize the foundation that's still good, which is the hopper and the lifters. For folks that are buying new equipment today, in 7 years, you may need to do some refurbishment, but it talks to the longevity of the sparkling bins equipment. I mean, your long-term cost on this equipment is relatively low, if you spread it out over 14 years.
Absolutely. And keeping your radius tight, that will save the chassis and, like you said, continue to allow you to utilize the equipment without having to buy a brand new piece of equipment when you want to expand or replace those. Once again, here inside of Trash Chatter, discussing different innovations that are happening within the trash bin cleaning industry with Jason Proctor out of the Bay Area. Jason, as we're just discussing different things in your business, you will be entering your 8th year in business as we get into 2024. What are some different things you're working on for your team, and what are some of your future plans?
So we will be expanding our service area. We just signed a lease on a second depot in San Francisco, and we'll be expanding in San Francisco and going down the South Peninsula a little bit. So basically having 2 hubs, that's going to be an interesting, something new for us to figure out. I think just honing our policies and procedures and really, getting that to a point where we can have a remote manager. It's just trying to really control growth to some degree.
Awesome. And you talked about it earlier. You try to make sure that you're not spending too much time driving. So I think it's great that you'll have 2 main hubs to allow you to grow in those areas. And before we let you go, Jason, this has been an awesome time getting to sit down and chat with you. If you had any advice for incoming entrepreneurs, or maybe it's multiple pieces of advice, what would you say to somebody who wants to enter into this industry?
Well, I'm going to sound like a broken record here because I think everybody says this. When you're first investigating this industry, there's a lot of excitement about, wow, this is not in my area, and this is such a cool piece of equipment. And I think most people feel like, people are going to be banging down the door and you're going to get rich quick. That is not the case. That's not going to happen. I'd like to tell people, when I started Canology, I surveyed my peers and family and said, what do you think about this? And 50% of the people said, why the heck would I clean a trash can? And then 50% of the people said, when the heck are you coming to my neighborhood? But out of that 50%, probably 1% actually signed up for the service. So you have to realize that if this service is not in their area, they're going to spend a lot of time educating the folks of the need for the service and to validate the service. I think now, years into this, I think the general population, is more accepting and more the industry is more credible than it was, 6-8 years ago. So just to have really realistic expectations. The more you put in, the harder you focus on it, the faster you will get to critical mass. If you're going to put half-time efforts in, you'll get half-time results. So yeah, I mean, I just feel like it's a very rewarding industry. Ultimately, you've got a recurring revenue model industry, which is appealing to me. We're not typically selling jobs after job after job, which is what I was doing in my contracting business. And the task of cleaning is somewhat repetitive, so you can apply the Ray Kroc theory to this industry, but it takes a while to get there, but it's very rewarding. And I would just say to folks that are thinking about buying into this industry, just look at the options that are available. Do your due diligence. Call existing companies near that area. Speak to them. It's amazing to me that I have competitors that never called me, never spoke to me. Make the call. See how they're doing. See what they recommend. When you're looking for equipment, go look at all the different manufacturers. Speak to people that own that equipment. Would they buy again? What was their experience on the after sales service? So I guess that would be my recommendations to folks. And be capitalized. Make sure you have enough funds to weather the first year or two.
I think all of those pieces of advice, Jason, are spot on. They're so true. They're repetitive because most likely that means they're accurate for all different types of folks getting into the business. But I want to thank you for coming on to Trash Chatter today, but furthermore, for all your contributions to the industry. I know how much you help Sparkling Bins. We're lucky to have you as a part of the family. You work tirelessly to continue helping other people that are in your same shoes, and we greatly appreciate it. Love the website. It's amazing. More things to come with it, and we appreciate all your hard work.
Well, thank you very much for inviting me on today, Victoria. And Happy New Year and Merry Christmas to everyone.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jason. Once again, this is Trash Chatter. We are going to be bringing you one episode every month with different entrepreneurs, different guests to give you insight into owning your own trash bin cleaning business. Check us out at sparklingbinsbusiness.com if you're interested in learning more. And if you're in the Bay Area, check out trycanology.com to sign up for Jason's service. We appreciate you all tuning in. We look forward to some more exciting episodes. Once again, thanks for checking out Trash Chatter, and we'll see you again next time.